Lift the lid off the back of your toilet right now and look down inside. Most folks have lived with that thing for years and never once done it. If you have ever dropped a colored tablet in there, or a cake of something meant to keep the bowl blue and clean, take a good look at what has become of it. The crumbled residue sitting in the bottom, and the rubber parts down in the water gone soft and swollen. That tank is not a cupboard for cleaning. It is a machine, a plain one, and whatever you have set in it to soak does not clean your bowl so much as it chews, slow and quiet, at the very parts that make the thing work. It chews until a part gives out and the toilet begins to run and will not stop. And a toilet that runs pours near 200 gallons of water down the drain in a single day, and dollars along with it, while you sleep. Here is the whole of it. The stain you keep scrubbing never lived in that tank in the first place. For about $1 of one plain thing, I will show you where it truly hides, clean it out, and leave that tank with nothing in it but plain water. I have watched this play out in more than one English bathroom, and it always runs the same way. You drop the tablet in, the water turns a pretty blue, and you feel you have done a clever thing. You come to trust that blue, you look in the tank and see the color, and tell yourself the whole business is being kept clean for you, when the color's fooling you, and the water underneath is doing the very opposite. Down in that pretty blue water, the flapper's going soft, and the seals are swelling, and the little gaskets are losing their grip, a day and a night at a time. And every few weeks, you buy another plastic cage of the stuff, and drop it in, and throw the old one away, so the money goes out the door on a thing that is quietly wearing your toilet out from the inside. Then one morning, the toilet's running, and it will not quit, and that is water and money slipping out under your floor, thousands of gallons in a year, silent as anything. And through all of it, the ring in the bowl comes back within days of every scrubbing, no matter how hard you go at it, because you have been cleaning the one place the trouble does not live. What I am going to hand you costs about $1 and a jar you press yourself. And once you have it, you will never buy another one of those tablets, nor pay a man to set right what one of them wore out. My name is Miriam Fisher. I have kept house on the same farm here in Lancaster County for near on 50 years, and I have cleaned a good many English houses besides my own in that time, so I have had the lid off more tanks than I could count. The plumbing came into this house when I was still a young wife. I can remember the well in the outhouse before it, and I have looked after every bit of it plain, the way my mother looked after hers, and her mother before her, with a jug of vinegar and a box of soda, and a little knowing, and never once a bought tablet sitting in the tank. Stay with me now, for two things here matter more than all the rest. There is one place the dirt truly comes from, and no brush you own can reach a bit of it. And there is one thing you must never once do with the vinegar I am about to hand you, because it can fill a small room with a gas that will put a grown person down on the floor. Now, those frightening titles will tell you the plumbers are hiding this from you. Do not go hunting for a villain, for there is none, and I will not sell you one. This got forgotten for a plain reason. A little tablet you must buy again every few weeks, forever in its bit of plastic, is a fine thing to sell, and $1 of vinegar that lasts you months is not. And here is the part that ought to settle it. The very companies that make the toilets will tell you in their own warranty papers, right there in the box you never read, not to drop these cleaners in the tank. Kohler writes plainly that an in-tank cleaner will void the warranty. American Standard says it does not cover the damage these cause, that they seriously corrode the fittings in the tank. Fluidmaster, who makes the working parts inside a great many of those tanks, says do not use the drop-in cleaners with bleach or chlorine, that they will void the warranty. It is no secret kept from you. It is written down and handed to you with the toilet, and only nobody reads it. So let me hand it back to you in order. And the first step costs you nothing at all. Take everything out of that tank but the water. Lift the lid off, set it somewhere safe, for it is heavy and it breaks, and take out the tablet or the cake, whatever is sitting in there dissolving. Here is why it matters. Every working part down in that tank is rubber or plastic, and every one of them sits in that water all day and all night. The flapper at the bottom that lifts to let the water go, the seals in the gaskets, the fill valve that lets the water back in. Plain water does them no harm, but water with a chlorine tablet dissolving in it is harsh, and harsh water sitting on rubber day and night softens it and swells it until it wears away, and then the flapper will not seat, and the toilet begins to run. My mother never had a thing in her tank but plain water, and the working parts of a toilet last for years when you leave them be. Leave them soaking in cleaner, and you are wearing out a part to freshen a bowl, mending nothing, and breaking the machine to do it. And if you want to know this very minute whether a tablet has already cost you, here is a plain test that needs no tools at all. Put a few drops of food coloring into the water in the tank, and then walk away, and do not flush, for the better part of an hour. Come back and look in the bowl. If the color has crept down into the bowl on its own, your flapper's leaking. The water is slipping past it silent, and that is your toilet running without a sound for you to hear. A leaking flapper is the most common reason a toilet runs at all, and a tablet sitting against it, wearing at the rubber, is the most common reason a flapper gives out before its time. So do that little test today, and you will know where you stand before you go a step further. Now the second step, which is to go where the trouble actually lives, and it is not the tank at all. It is up under the rim of the bowl. When you flush, the water does not simply fall straight down. It runs first through a hollow channel that circles the whole rim and comes out through a row of little holes underneath, called the jets. And those jets are what rinse the bowl as the water sweeps round. That channel is dark and it is always wet. And that is exactly where the scale and the mildew set up house, up where hard water leaves its lime and no brush you own can reach. And every single day, that hidden channel seeds the bowl below it with what is growing up there. That is the whole reason the ring and the sour smell come back within days of your scrubbing. You have been cleaning the part you can see, while the source of it sits up in the rim, untouched, doing its quiet work. So here is how you clean it, and it costs about $1. Now you will be told all over to pour your vinegar down the overflow tube, that open pipe standing up inside the tank. And I will be honest with you, for honesty is the whole of why you came. That tube is the wrong door. The overflow tube only carries the little trickle that refills the bowl after a flush. The water that washes the rim comes up from the big opening at the bottom of the tank, the one the flapper covers, called the flush valve. So if you want the vinegar to reach the rim where the trouble is, you send it in there. Shut the water off at the wall behind the toilet and flush to empty the tank down. Then pour a good measure of plain white vinegar straight down into that flush valve opening. Or, better still for a bad case, lay strips of paper toweling soaked in vinegar right up under the rim, pressed against the jets so the acid sits against them and cannot run off. Vinegar is a mild acid. About 5 parts in 100 is the sour stuff, and lime scale is its plain opposite, so the acid eats the mineral soft. Leave it an hour for a light case, or overnight for a hard one. Then turn the water back on. Flush it through 2 or 3 times to carry the loosened muck out the jets and give the bowl its ordinary scrub. Now you have cleaned the place the trouble was coming from, and not merely the place it was showing, and there is nothing left steeping in that tank. A jug of vinegar runs $1 or $2 and lasts me months. My mother cleared the lime out of her kettle the very same way, and it has never once needed improving on. If you want to see the jets you have been cleaning, hold a little hand mirror up under the rim and look. You will find the row of holes there, and on a hard water house, you will likely find half of them crusted near shut, which is the very reason the flush had gone weak and lazy on you, running slow down one side of the bowl. A bit of stiff wire, run gently into each hole, opens any the vinegar did not fully clear. Do that once, and the next flush will come round the bowl full and strong the way it did when the toilet was new, and you will wonder how long you had been living with half a flush and calling it ordinary. I have opened the jets on an old farmhouse that had not run right in 10 years, and the woman of the house stood there and laughed at the sound of a full flush she had clean forgotten a toilet could make. Now for the part that keeps the bowl sweet between your cleanings without your buying a thing, and it is a satisfying bit of kitchen work. My mother never had a bought freshener in her life. She kept the whole house sweet with baking soda to take up a smell, and a drop of pleasant oil to give one, and those same plain things make you a bowl tablet as good as any sold for pennies. Here is the making of it. Take about a cup of plain baking soda, which takes a smell up, rather than laying a perfume over the top of it. Add half as much citric acid, that sour white powder sold cheap for canning, which is what makes the tablet fizz when it meets the water and works at the light staining as it goes. The two of them, the sour acid and the soda, cannot abide each other once the water wakes them, and they let go their fizz. That is only air, plain and harmless, the same fizz that lifts a cake, and as it foams, it carries the acid into the light scale. 2 parts soda to 1 part acid is the measure. Mix the dry together well first, breaking up the lumps so it is even all through. Add a small spoon of dish soap for a bit of foam, and 10 or 15 drops of whatever oil pleases you, the lavender, or the mint, or the lemon. Then you must wet it, and go slow here, for this is where folks go wrong. Dampen it just barely, a spray of water at a time, stirring quick as you go, until it just holds together when you squeeze a handful, like damp sand that packs. No wetter than that, or it will fizz away on you before it ever reaches the bowl. Press it firm into a little mold, the cups of an old ice tray will do, and leave them a full day to dry hard. Turn them out, keep them in a jar with a tight lid, and keep that jar dry, for if the damp gets at them on the shelf, they will fizz themselves away to nothing before ever you use them, the way my grandmother kept her soda in a tight tin for the very same reason. Then drop one in whenever the bowl wants freshening. It fizzes as it dissolves, the acid working the light scale while the soda takes up the smell. Give it a swish with the brush, let it sit a few minutes, and flush it through. A cup of soda makes you a dozen or more, for less than a single one of anything you would buy. But hear me plainly on what that tablet is and is not, for I will not let you believe more of it than is true. It freshens the bowl, and it lifts the light staining and the fresh scale between your deeper cleanings. It does not kill a germ, and it is no disinfectant, and I would not have you trust it for one. When a thing truly must be made safe, the bowl after someone in the house has been sick, that is a different job with a different tool, and this sweet little tablet is not it. What it is an honest freshener for pennies that leaves nothing in your tank and no plastic in your bin, and that is plenty for it to be. 2 words of care before we go further, and I will not skip them, for they matter more than all the rest. The first is the one I promised you at the start. Never let vinegar or any acid meet bleach. Not in a bucket, not in the bowl, not one poured in right behind the other. And mind that a toilet is a common place folks slip up, for many a bowl cleaner is an acid, and someone pours a bleach in behind it, thinking 2 will do better than 1. When an acid and bleach come together, they make chlorine gas, the same kind of gas that was once used to choke men in a war, and it burns the eyes and the throat and takes the very breath out of your lungs, and enough of it in a small closed bathroom will put a grown person down on the floor. So if you keep any bleach cleaner in the house, keep it far from your vinegar, and never use the one behind the other. Better still, as we have always done, keep none, and the danger is simply not in the house to begin with. And the second word of care, keep the citric acid and the finished tablets up high, away from the little children, and label the jar plain. For a child will put a thing in his mouth, and those tablets look for all the world like a sweet, and they are not. One more plain thing, and it answers the question you are already asking. How often? That depends on your water, and you know your water by now. If you live where the water is hard, and you will know it by the white crust on the kettle and the spots left drying on the glasses. The lime builds fast, and you will want to send the vinegar up through the rim every few weeks to stay ahead of it. Where the water is soft, a few times a year is plenty. The tablets you drop in as the bowl asks for them, every few days or once a week, whatever keeps it sweet. You need not keep a schedule on a calendar. The bowl will tell you when it wants freshening, and you will learn its habits the way you learn everything else about a house you have kept a long while. Now step back with me and see what the whole of it comes to. A tank kept clear, with nothing in it but plain water, so the rubber lasts and the toilet does not run. And think what a running toilet costs, near 200 gallons of water in a day, thousands of gallons in a year, going out silent under your floor, and on some water bills that is $300 or $400 in a year, for a leak you never once saw or heard. The small leaks in an ordinary house, the ones nobody ever hears, add up to more than 9,000 gallons of water in a year, and a running toilet alone can be the greater part of that. Across this whole country, those quiet household leaks waste near 1 trillion gallons of water in a year. The mending of it, for your one house, is $1 of vinegar, poured where the trouble truly lives, and a jar of tablets you pressed yourself of a cup of soda, and a spoon of acid. The money stays in your drawer. The parts last the years they were meant to. The bowl stays bright and sweet between cleanings, with no plastic cage steeping in the tank, and no plumber's bill waiting for you down the road. And there is a quieter gain in it than the money, though the money is real enough. Nothing goes in the bin every few weeks, and no one in the house breathes a harsh cleaner to keep a bowl white. So here is what I would have you do this week, and I have kept it short enough to carry in your head. Lift the lid off your tank and take out whatever is sitting in there, and leave it nothing but plain water. Put a few drops of food coloring in the tank and wait and learn whether your flapper already leaks. When the bowl wants a real cleaning, shut the water off at the wall, flush the tank empty, and send your white vinegar in through the flush valve opening, or lay soaked, toweling up under the rim. Let it sit an hour or overnight, then flush it through and scrub. Press yourself a jar of tablets, 2 parts baking soda to 1 part citric acid, a small spoon of dish soap, a few drops of oil, damped just barely and dried a full day, and hold to the 2 cautions without fail. Never let vinegar meet bleach, and keep the acid and the tablets up high, away from the children. That is the whole of it, and it will run you about $1. Now I would like to hear from you. Lift the lid off your own tank tonight before you do another thing, and simply look, see what is sitting in there, and what state the rubber is in, down in the water. Then come back and tell me in the comments what you found, for I am always curious, and I suspect a good many of you will be surprised. And tell me your county and the age of your house while you are there, for the old houses have the old plumbing and the hard water that scales a bowl so, and I learned from every one of you how it runs where you live. I read them, every single one. And before you go, let me leave you the next thing. This same rim and this same jug of vinegar are only the start of it. Next time I will show you how to keep a whole bathroom sweet with a few cheap things from the pantry, and how to keep the damp from ever turning a room sour without a single spray from the store shelf. Until then, keep it simple. My grandmother used to say, the dear things wear out first when you crowd them, and a toilet is no different. Give it nothing but plain water. Clean the rim where the trouble truly hides, and it will outlast you. Lift the lid tonight, and now you know.